This is JRAM.
And this is Billy.
And this is the JRAM and Billy Show.
And today, we're going to talk about...
That's right, Friday the 13th, listeners.
All right.
We're going to cover this series one movie at a time every other week or so.
Yeah.
So it'll take us a while because we've got about 11 movies to work through.
Oh my God. I'm looking forward to it mostly because I haven't seen these movies before. Well, not before tonight. We literally just finished watching the very first Friday the 13th film, which came out in, 1980?
1980, exactly.
1980, which is actually kind of cool because they put in the film that it was June 13th. That was the Friday the 13th, and that's actually the Friday the 13th of the year that the movie released, which I think was kind of cool.
Yeah, they did that on purpose.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. Consistency. But, yeah, we're going to go on a little journey, and we hope you all enjoy it.
Yeah, stick with us.
All right, James, so how do you feel about this movie? I know it holds a dear place in your heart.
It is. It's actually my favorite horror movie series.
Why?
Because it's a lot of fun. There are ones that are actually good horror movies that are really scary, that have some very good, jumpy, suspenseful, terrifying moments.
Yeah.
And then there's ones like, which you haven't seen yet, like Jason Takes Manhattan,
Yeah.
which is just like the worst movie. You can't wait for Jason X, and you'll enjoy that. But there are some real bad ones, like Jason Takes it's the worst. Jason Takes Manhattan.
I don't know if it could be worse than what you told me about Jason X.
Dude, yes it can.
I don't think it could be worse than that.
Oh, you'll see.
Jason in space. Anyway, it's going to be a fun ride. We're going to probably be releasing one of these every other week. We're going to watch Friday the 13th, and we're going to review all of those. So if you're interested in horror films, or if you've watched them and you want to hear our takes on it, definitely give us a listen. Also, great news is that we will soon be on Apple iTunes podcasts as well as Spotify.
Yeah, it's exciting. We're moving up in the world, everybody.
Yeah, we're actually, now we're on a paid subscription with Podbean. So, now there will be no limits to,
how many episodes
we can do or, anything like that. So definitely give us a follow. As of now, the shows are still free. We may do some sort of Patreon or something in the future.
Maybe we can come up with some kind of merch idea, t-shirts or something.
Yeah, I mean, I just,
We want to do this for fun, but we're excited to see where it could take us as well.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
So since I'm the fan, I'll take the lead on this.
Okay.
So I'm dying to know, Ryan, what'd you think?
I would give it a 6 out of 10.
That's fair for a first viewer. I'm telling you now, at the end of this series, I'm going to ask you to re-rank it.
Yeah.
And I already know you're going to be like
so?
8 or 9 out of 10.
Wow. Just compared to the other ones?
Yes. When you have to sit through the whole series, you're like, yeah, they should have made this one movie like they wanted to and then be done.
I will say I was a little surprised with the film because I had a different preconceived notion about how the film actually was and what the plot was. So I thought that the mother was like already dead. And this is me going into the film like just naive. I just kind of hear different things about the Jason franchise, and I guess I just had this,
I mean, you just hit it on the head.
Well, actually,
it's called most people refer to it as Jason franchise.
Yeah.
So nobody really remembers or thinks about the fact that, spoiler alert, for a 30, 40-year-old movie at this point, that Jason is not the killer in the first movie.
No.
It's actually his mom.
Yeah, which really surprised the heck out of me. I mean, like, I thought Jason would be in the film. Like, I was like, okay, when are they going to show the guy in the hockey mask? At the very end in a dream sequence.
And in the flashback to when he died. Because the mom's telling Alice about
but he was like 40 yards away and drowning in the lake, and you couldn't even... Anyway, the biggest point of this film is, and I think James agrees with me on this, is the theatrics to the revealing of the bodies. I think that's funny. The best part of the film. is that, you know, all these people get killed in different ways and such, but it's at the end where the
killer
protagonist
just
finds
takes the bodies of the murdered victims,
Yeah,
and then goes, no, I can't just put them anywhere. I gotta set it up where
Yeah.
they'll fall into frame. Basically,
I've gotta throw
at just
this
the right
person.
time.
Yeah. My little 40-year-old mother with my petite body is gonna launch a girl through a window.
Or literally take a 6-foot-something dude, lift him up off the ground, and pin him to the door with arrows.
Yeah. Or, I mean, it's just weird.
It's a low-budget movie. It was an indie movie, so when you watch it, obviously the effects aren't as good as some of the stuff today.
Yeah.
Like, they don't ever show you the killer's face until the very end, so it's clearly a male stuntman doing all of the killing.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it was low budget for the time too. It's
Yeah.
not just that it was old and the special effects were old. It was definitely the budget too.
I think we were both surprised still by the actual blood effects, like the actual killings.
Yeah, the actual
looked really good.
Yeah, they put most of their money in that. I think with the special effects is just the actual like axe in the girl's head. Claudette, I think, was the one that got the axe to the face. That was pretty cool because that had to have been made in some sort of like a puppet kind of thing.
Yeah,
or like a dummy or something.
A half head or something.
Maybe.
Like that.
I mean, it was neat. I liked how they did that and the Kevin Bacon thing.
Yeah, by the way, Kevin Bacon, this is like his first role. He's in this movie.
Yeah.
And another note before we get to his death is that warning listeners, at about 24 minutes and 3 seconds into the movie.
we actually timestamped this.
Yeah, because you can clearly see his boner. He has got a huge dong, and you can clearly see it in his Speedo.
He's stuffing.
He's stuffing the shit out of that fucking Speedo.
He's got sausages in his underwear.
Something like it's
he
crazy.
Put a banana in his pants before he went swimming to impress the ladies. That's
Maybe. I hope it's his real dong. Like I'd be more impressed if it was real. If he was like, "This is what I got."
Yeah,
how it is.
But yeah, the prosthetics and stuff like that they had for the special effects, that was really cool. The acting was a little bit skimpy.
Well,
like they didn't really, I got to see some boobs, which was nice, I guess. It's always good when you're watching a horror film to get a few tit shots in.
Yeah.
And yeah, and they smoke. They smoke weed in it, which is a staple
another stereotype of horror movies.
Yeah, trope, yeah.
Sex or weed or anything like that, you die.
Yeah. I'm surprised that Alice survived at the end of the film.
Yeah, because she takes a toke.
Yeah, she takes a toke. And, if you do anything like that in a horror film, you're dead. You're gone.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I guess if you even, go to a party with, a keg or something, because that's another thing.
Ooh.
Yeah. It wasn't that.
Can't drink.
Is that in Scream?
Drink. I think so.
Yeah.
Scream is really good about letting everyone
I've never
know
watched any of those either. I've never watched any of those.
I've seen the first two. I haven't seen the third and the fourth one. But they're pretty good movies.
Yeah.
So why don't we start at the beginning?
Yeah.
The movie starts at Camp Crystal Lake, 1958, with a sing-along of all the camp counselors.
Yeah.
We move on to follow these two counselors that go upstairs to the barn. And they start doing, something.
They get to second base and then they get murdered.
Yeah, and that's the cold open of the movie.
Yeah.
Then it cuts to our friend Annie, who's going to be the chef at the camp.
Yeah.
And she goes into town.
And she's hitchhiking.
Yeah.
All the way from, California or something like that is what she said?
No, that's Alice. The final girl's from California.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, Annie ends up going to town and walks into a diner.
Oh, yeah, God.
Tell them what happens when she walks into the diner.
So she walks into the diner and saying that she's got this summer job at Camp Crystal Lake, and the whole diner turns and looks at her.
Stops on a dime, goes dead quiet except for the jukebox.
And Crazy Ralph.
He wasn't in the diner.
Yeah, I thought he showed up
right outside the diner.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But everyone in the diner just stops on a dime and stares at her.
Camp Blood or
and
something.
And then, one of the patrons goes, Camp Blood? They're opening that place again? I looked at Billy, and right there I said, well, there's your number one reason to go, you know what? I don't need this summer job.
Yeah, screw that.
I can get a job at the supermarket bagging groceries or something.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't want to work at a place called Camp Blood.
Well, especially if you're a Crip.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be pretty bad.
Yeah.
That'd be dangerous.
Yeah.
You'd have to be like Warren G and regulate.
So then she
hitches a ride with the trucker.
Yeah.
Who then goes on to tell her the history of the camp.
Yeah.
How there was
stares at her very
weird,
uncomfortably. Just
there's a lot of.
It was really odd.
I'm surprised this movie hasn't been kind of Me Too'd. We'll get to that in a little bit. But the trucker basically goes, Did your boss, Steve Christie, tell you what was going on? There was a boy who drowned in 1957, 2 camp counselors killed in 58, a bunch of fires. In 1962, they tried to open up and the water was bad. So, clearly this camp has been kept from opening for a good reason.
Poison the watering hole.
Yeah, turn around. Don't take this job.
Yeah, so she ends up hitching a ride with a dude in a Jeep after that, right? He drops her off because he won't take her.
Well, the trucker isn't going all the way. So he drops her at the halfway point. Yeah. She keeps going. Mm-hmm. And then we go to the camp where we see Jack and Ned. Oh, my God, Ned.
Yeah, Ned is reckless. He's clearly on some drug.
Something.
He's on, okay, you know that old film, Reefer Madness?
Yeah.
That's the kind of weed that he's been smoking.
Yeah, because he's crazy.
If you haven't seen Reefer Madness, you should definitely check it out. It's pretty, it's hilarious.
And when I said we get to Me Too, I'm talking about Ned. He is very grabby and touchy-feely with the women.
Yeah. And I expected, what was his name? Steve?
The camp leader, the guy who owns it, Steve.
I expected him to be the weird, pedophile type.
Well, that's because he has that weird 70s curly hair and 70s mustache.
Oh, yeah, it's the mustache.
He looks like a pedophile.
Okay, it's the mustache mixed with the fact that when you first see him, he's wearing jorts. And he has no shirt. Yeah, tight jorts. And no shirt on.
Chopping wood. And I'm just thinking,
he's trying to get him, so he's wanting to smash. I was just, I expected, out of all the people there, I mean, especially Kevin Bacon, expect Kevin Bacon to get laid in the film, which he does.
Yeah.
Go Kevin Bacon.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, was it worth it?
Nobody goes to see a Kevin hot dog movie. People see a Kevin Bacon movie. Okay.
All right. So,
that's where we meet all our other camp counselors. Yeah. And, it's basically pretty standard. We meet them, then we cut back to Annie. She gets picked up by someone driving a Jeep. We don't know who's driving it.
Yeah.
And then they take her, they pass where they're supposed to take her. And she starts to panic. She jumps out of the Jeep.
Runs into the woods, and then she gets her throat slit.
Yeah, pretty convincingly.
Yeah.
And by man hands, though.
Yeah, by man hands, and... the way she reacts to the camera, it's like a man is doing it, Yeah. And I guess maybe you just, you expect, hey, they're preying on young girls. You expect it to be a man,
But no, they don't.
Yeah.
They do kind of cheat in that they never introduce Pamela Voorhees as a character until she just shows up at the very end.
Yeah.
A better way for me, if I had made the movie, I would have had her be in the diner.
Really?
I would have had her be one of the people in the diner, and she's reading a paper, and when Annie walked in and asked about it, maybe she just, kind of flattens the paper and looks over at it.
Yeah.
So we can see her so we get some kind of glimpse
foreshadowing or something.
Yeah, because they do a pretty good job of giving you some other suspects.
Yeah. They make Steve look like he's the killer.
Yeah, because he drives the same Jeep.
Yeah, there was some continuity issues that I was having while watching the film, because I was like, well, how would he kill her if he was at the diner?
Yeah.
And how would he do this if his Jeep was broke down? And I'm just thinking, what is the deal with that? Mm-hmm. But the movie, clearly, whenever you see him drive the Jeep, you're like, oh, so he's the one that killed Annie?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one that killed Annie. So, they do a good job.
I mean, they have
diverting your expectations.
They have Crazy Ralph, who's just the town crazy, who's going to Camp Blood, ain't you?
You're all doomed.
It's got a death curse.
Yeah.
Again, if you're going somewhere to work for the summer, and a local person in the town says, oh, that place, it's got a death curse, another sign to just maybe turn around and get a different job.
Yeah, just don't go to Camp Death Curse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it takes quite a while. That is one of my flaws with the movie, is it takes a while for bodies to start to fall. But once they do, oh boy, they fall real quick.
Yeah. So let's move on towards towards the meat of the film. Let's start dropping bodies, James.
Okay.
So tell me how each of these characters die.
So we have Annie, who we already talked about. She's the cook.
Yeah, she got her throat. Yeah, she got her throat slit. Yeah.
Next person, I'm pretty sure it's Ned.
Yeah.
He just walks into a cabin, and we don't see him killed. We just see the reveal of his body later. He also has his throat slit.
While Kevin Bacon and what's her face
are getting
Claudette.
it on.
Claudette.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They're just getting it on the bottom bunk underneath their dead friend, which I thought was pretty creepy.
Pretty like,
because you didn't
risque for a movie.
Yeah, pretty good for.
Then is Kevin Bacon's character Jack. He gets an arrow through the throat.
Yes,
which you actually gasped at. You really liked that effect.
Yeah, I liked the effect.
If you rewind it and watch real close, you can see that what it is it's his head on a pillow, and like from the neck down, it's just like a rubber body.
Yeah,
but you have
it's
to
convincing.
Really
you have to really be looking at it, and
to realize it doesn't quite match.
A typical viewer too would also be kind of wincing and not wanting to look. So I mean,
because it's gurgling blood.
Yeah, it would be convincing.
Arrow coming straight out.
It was just mostly like the color of his face was redder than the prosthetic. So, but that was a really good one. And then the next one to die is
his girlfriend
Claudette, and
she goes to the bathroom
to the latrines.
Yeah, she goes to the latrines to clean up after sex, and she gets an axe to the head.
Yeah, which was a really good one, And in meantime, the other camp counselors are playing strip Monopoly and smoking their marijuana. Which is just like...
Strip Monopoly sounds fun, though.
Yeah, I don't know if I would do it, though.
Yeah, that'd be fun, though.
Yeah, that'd be weird.
I think it'd be fun.
It would just be awkward. I don't know.
So those three are doing that.
Yeah.
And the door blows open because, of course, it starts to rain, starts to storm. Yeah. And the next one to go, I'm almost positive...
It's the dude, right? Bill?
No. It's actually... I want to say it's Marcy.
Marcy?
Yeah. And that she goes out and she gets killed at the archery range. Actually, no.
I think I missed that.
I think we have Marcy and Claudette maybe flipped.
Oh.
Or maybe it's Brenda. I can't remember. Maybe it's Brenda.
It's all right.
It's Brenda. Brenda then gets killed.
Yeah.
By going out to the archery range because she hears a little boy crying for help.
Yeah.
And she goes to investigate and the lights all turn on.
I remember. Yeah, I remember.
And then it just kind of cuts away and you just hear her scream.
Yeah.
And Alice is like, Bill, I thought I heard a scream. Bill is the other guy in the movie.
Yeah.
So they go out looking, they separate, and then at some point Bill gets killed. And so it ends up with Alice. We're at the end of the movie now.
Yeah.
Alice is all by herself.
Main protagonist now.
She's scared. She's barricading herself in this cabin because they found a bloody axe. So she's barricading herself in.
And then she sees Steve's Jeep drive up.
Yeah. She takes a breath.
Yeah.
And then a body comes flying through the window.
That's right. Yeah, that happens
She takes a breath because she thinks, okay, I've barricaded myself in. Body flying through the kitchen window.
Yeah.
All tied up. It's Brenda. And she's like, ah! She screams and panics.
Pamela Voorhees must do shoulders pretty well.
She threw that woman through that window, like, whole body. Didn't go like halfway through, went completely through the window.
Just burst it, yeah.
So Alice panics, undoes the door, and she runs outside, and there's a Jeep coming, and she's going, oh, thank God, it's Steve, it's Steve. She runs up to the Jeep, and it's a woman, an old woman she's never seen before in her life. And she's screaming at this old woman, we gotta get out of here, everybody's dead. Because she also finds Bill's body, which again is like this 6-foot, good-built dude, somehow pinned to the door.
Yeah, impaled by arrows.
To a door.
Yeah.
Just one and through his eye. Like, he's just pinned to this door.
Yeah.
Feet are not touching the ground. So, like, he was lifted up and put on the door.
That's gotta be,
And I don't think they find any of the other bodies except for Steve. Because Steve Christie, we forgot to mention. Steve sees Pamela first. And he goes, hey, what are you doing here? And then we just see a hand go out and stab him in the gut.
Oh, man.
And then he dies. So when she's running away, because Pamela eventually slips, and she's like, did they ever tell you what happened to my son, Jason? And she goes on the whole thing about
tirade about the camp counselors going off to have sex. Yeah.
Instead of watching her son, who, okay, let's not beat her on the bush. He was mentally challenged.
Yeah.
He had severe physical and mental disabilities.
Yeah.
But she just goes, he was not a good swimmer. So Her whole reason is they should have been watching him, which is true.
Yeah, it's
the counselor
true.
should have been taking care of the special needs child more than.
But does that justify poisoning the water?
Well, she tried
killing all of these different people.
If you think about it, the only people she killed were the 2 counselors and 58, who very well could have been the 2 counselors that were responsible for her son drowning.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So she technically killed the people responsible, and then all she did was try non-harmful ways to keep the camp from opening. A bunch of fires, poisoning the water. They would test the water before anyone drank it and find out it was bad.
Yeah.
So all she really did was try non-violent ways of keeping the camp open. But the Christies,
it
the
opened
Christies
up.
were
Now I gotta murder everybody.
so damn set on opening that camp. She had no choice. She had to kill them. She had to not let what happened to her boy.
I wouldn't say she didn't have a choice. I'm just.
Oh no, she didn't have a choice. Come on, she's totally justified.
No,
she couldn't let what happened to her son happen to anyone else.
Oh God!
Of course she's mentally ill, man. Like she's
just murdered.
She starts thinking that Alice, who is in 1980, is one of the camp counselors from like the 1950s that was responsible for her son's death.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And she keeps hearing Jason's voice, and she speaks in it, which is kind of neat, psycho-esque kind of thing of like, "Kill him, mommy, kill him," which is where we get the Stinger's tag of "k k k ma ma ma."
Yeah,
because it's actually the "k" from kill and "ma" from mommy.
Yeah,
which is kind of neat.
So they have a scuffle.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
And it lasts a good long while.
Yeah, I know. I was
which
like,
is kind of infuriating because Alice gets some good licks and she beats her with a rifle.
2 chances
she hits her with a poker.
Or to kill her.
Yeah.
She's got 2 chances and she lets her go every time and just tries to run away. And I'm just like...
Every time she knocks her down, she runs away instead of just finishing the job.
Yeah. And eventually, she's just got to finish the job.
Yeah, because it leads to a beach scuffle where Pamela has a machete and Alice has a wooden oar.
Yeah.
But somehow they get into a tussle and the machete gets loose. Alice scrambles. She picks it up. Betty comes charging and like a baseball bat.
Decapitated.
Fatality.
Yeah. It was...
blood squirting, hands grasping for air.
Yeah, which was kind of crazy. But
it was awesome.
I'm just saying. But yeah, so...
Alice is safe. It's all over.
Yeah.
So she gets in a canoe, because she's not fixing to go sit in that campground with all of her dead friends. So she paddles out to the middle of the lake, which makes sense, because if you were hunted by a killer on land, all your friends are dead, where's probably the safest place to be?
On the lake, yeah.
Middle of the lake where no one can get to your boat without you seeing them.
Yeah.
So she's sitting there, it's the morning, the cops come, the music starts to play. People get their, grab their bags. They grab their coats. They're ready to leave the theater. Mm-hmm. Then what happens?
Then Jason comes out of the water and grabs her and pulls her under.
Yeah.
The dead body of Jason
just comes up and takes her down. She screams and she wakes up in a hospital. And she goes, the boy, did you get the boy that pulled me under? And they're like, ma'am, we thought you were dead. We pulled you out. There was no boy. And she's like, then he's still there.
Yeah. So, possibly setting up for a sequel, but I don't think that you said that's not what they intended.
Originally, what they intended was to make this an anthology series.
Yeah.
Every year they'd release a Friday the 13th movie, and it would be just a different scary movie with the title being Friday the 13th.
That would have probably been better.
It would have been. Halloween tried to do it as well with Halloween 3. Like, they wanted it to just be a scary movie every Halloween with just the title Halloween.
Yeah.
But the way they chose to try that idea out was so horrible and so bad. It's called Season of the Witch.
Yeah.
And it tanked so bad that the very next one was Halloween 4, Return of Michael Myers. We're so sorry. We know what we did wrong.
Yeah.
And that's what they did with Friday the 13th. Is it made so much money for an indie movie.
They'd be stupid not to make
They demanded
sequels.
A sequel.
Yeah.
And they were fine with that, but then the studio was like, no, it's got to be Jason. And they were like, but Jason's dead. That was the whole reason.
Because audiences really like that jump scare at the end of the first movie? Is that why? Or
no, it was just it was a studio decision. Like, they just wanted it to be Jason. They wanted it to be successful, so they had to tie it into the first one. And the only characters left from the first one were Jason and Alice, even though it's revealed that the whole Jason pulling Alice into the lake was supposed to be a dream. Yeah. At least by the original writer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that was the whole purpose of Mrs. Voorhees.
Well, they definitely leave it ambiguous. And also in the future, we're going to do another review series of Nightmare on Elm Street. And alluding to that, I've already seen Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one. And it's kind of got the same little thing at the end where they have a little weird jump scare kind of thing. Like,
that was set up by Brian De Palma's Carrie, if you remember that movie.
Yeah.
Because at the very end of Carrie, she's at the grave and then the hand pops up.
Yeah.
It was set to the same thing. They did that. Friday the 13th was basically a ripoff.
Yeah.
They set out to rip off Halloween and they ripped off Carrie too. They just had this very slow, dull music play for long enough where you're going, oh, something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. Something may happen. Maybe something's going to happen. Nah, it's gone on too long. There's nothing going to happen. And then the jump scare happens.
Yeah.
So they do a good job of spacing it out.
Yeah.
But the whole point is that Mrs. Voorhees wouldn't have done what she did in that movie if Jason was alive.
Yeah.
So that it really is weird that they just keep with Jason, and it's only going to get weirder. And I just can't wait.
It's going to get crazy. I already know a little bit of the latter films.
And we're not going to do, I want to point out to the listeners, don't expect Freddy versus Jason anytime soon, because what we're going to do is we're going to go through the whole Friday series, including the 2009 reboot. Mm-hmm. Then we're going to do Nightmare. Yeah. And then we'll cover Freddy versus Jason. Yeah. Because that way we'll have seen both
enough background
series,
of both, yeah.
And we'll be able to judge that movie better.
Yeah. Also, I haven't seen that movie since I was 13 or something.
It's actually not bad. It's better than Jason X.
Yeah. It's the ending was kind of
if I remember correctly.
The ending was kind of crazy, but so my personal review of this film, I would give it a 6 out of 10. The only reasoning I'm giving it a 6 out of 10 is the acting was a little bit bad. You know, I mean, I understand it's a low budget and everything, and they may not all be A-list actors or anything like that. I mean, some of the actors and actresses were good, and then there's other scenes that was just too cheesy for me. You know, with horror films, I want to be scared, and, if I can sit and, make fun of it, while, it kind of takes away from it a little bit to me.
A little bit, but at the same time, these movies they were made to be scary at the time, but now they're you're able to make fun of them.
Yeah.
There are some legitimate scares.
I wonder if horror films that are made now will eventually be something that people can laugh.
So.
You think effects can get much better than they are now? I mean,
I don't know if it's all about effects, but I think enough time passes, different things will be scary.
Well, yeah, different trends and stuff, yeah I guess.
But my thing is that I really like this movie. I give it an 8 out of 10.
Really?
Because it takes too long for the bodies to start falling. I really do feel that way. Is that the reason
why you get 8 out of 10?
But I give it an 8 out of 10 because, unlike you, I know where this series is going.
Yeah.
It has some really low lows.
Yeah.
And this is definitely one of the high points. It's also a very good origin movie.
Yeah.
It really works as kind of a whodunit, and it really works as just an introduction to this world for me.
Yeah.
So I give it an 8 out of 10, and like I said, I think once you've seen the whole series, I think your rating might go up a bit.
Well, we'll keep track of our reviews of this, and then we will at the end of this Friday the 13th series, we are going to revisit our judgments and
see if they change. See if some go up, some go down.
Yeah. We'll keep track. It'll be kind of like a dynamic thing, just to compare it with the other films. But initially, just blind going in, I give it a 6 out of 10. So, anyway.
Can't wait to see where we go with this.
Can't wait until the next episode. It's going to be fun. All right. So,
this is JRAM.
And this is Billy.
And this was JRAM and Billy Show.
And we hope you have a great night. Thank you.